Hey everybody, so this is me finally escaping from the environment that I that I was trying so hard to get out of, that I was not supported. My growth wasn't supported. My dreams and my aspirations weren't supported. And I was doing nothing but continuing to live in a cycle that didn't help my growth, that didn't nurture my growth. And I couldn't even be myself. I couldn't even become the person that I meant to be. I apologize if you can't see me, but right now we're in Pennsylvania. We're in a rest stop. And we've been driving for about, I'd say, 3.5 to 4 hours now. And I have a specific destination, but I don't exactly know where I'm going. Because at the same time, anything can happen. Hi, Mama. Hey. My cat is just being extra vocal right now. Hi, Mama. Honestly, she is doing a lot better than I thought for the trip. Like, she hasn't been meowing like crazy, and she hasn't been super stressed out. I did give her some liquid, I think it was melatonin or some sort of supplement that was specifically for cats that were going to, feel a little bit more stressed, especially with transitions, feel more, what would you call it? Just overwhelmed with everything, changes and things like that of that nature. And basically, I was wanting this to happen literally since, I'd say, May around that time, or whatever. And I haven't done it because I was scared. I didn't do it because I was nervous. I didn't do it because I was not sure how I was gonna get out. And before, when I had the plan to go, hey baby girl. Before, when I had the plan to go, I had a lot more money than I do right now. And just something that kept recurring, not only, my bad y'all, she's wanting to explore. Not only was I continuing to get the message of not to worry about finances, but also that this was going to happen at a time where I wasn't necessarily ready. And so I know that what I had to do at the end of the day was just to make the move and literally let God take care of the rest. Mocha, come here. So yeah, from what y'all can see, as I was saying, I made this transition mainly because I needed to provide myself with the freedom and the opportunity and the chance to actually make something of myself, to grow outside of the environment that I have been stuck in for way too long. And again, I don't have an exact plan. Like, I don't have let's do this and then do that and then do this and do that. I have a general idea of who I want to become, what I want to do, where I see myself ending up. But at the same time, I know that God and Source has a plan that I can't exactly see right now. God and Source has things that they have in mind for me that I can't exactly see right now. And I just have to trust completely. So this is me trusting completely, even though I'm terrified. I don't know what exactly is going to happen. I don't know exactly where all I'm going. But overall, I know that I deserve to feel free. I deserve to feel a love that is reciprocated. I deserve to feel a love that is not conditional. I deserve to experience peace and true tranquility. And sometimes you have to literally do that yourself, or, be the first to take action or to take the initiative. Especially if you're a natural born leader like I am. And I've always desired to be that. But also during this journey, 222 on my clock, there's not necessarily, would you say, a step-by-step plan on how to get through things like this. You kind of just go through them. Hi, Mama. You kind of just get through them. You kind of just adapt. You kind of just figure it out as you go. And for me, when it comes to this, I am figuring out what exactly feels good to me. And in order to do that, you have to be able to put yourself in some sort of friction, to put yourself in a position of experiencing difficulty. So now we are, this is just a continuation of where I just left off, but now we are still taking care of business. Honestly, I was just gonna rest here for a little bit longer and then get back on the road. I honestly don't know what is going to happen when it comes to staying anywhere. I might just have to sleep in my car, which honestly was something that I was thinking about, but it's just like trying to get hotels that are literally like over $100 even. Like, I don't understand what happened to hotels being like $50 a night. Like, you know how crazy that is? Anywho, continuing on with this message. When it comes to figuring out, how to go into this next stage of life and embarking on, as I was saying, embarking on new beginnings and things like that, something that not only do I have to remind myself so I stay sane, but also just in general, is that like you just have to wing it at this point sometimes. And obviously not everybody can do what it is that I'm doing, which is why I am not trying to endorse what I'm doing to anybody. It's more so, I guess, representation, or trying to pave a way for people in the future or other people that are going through the same things as I am, for me to not only help others figure out the best way to go through these things or manage or figure these things out, but also, figuring it out in the safest and best way possible for yourself, for your peace of mind, for your sanity, for, whatever it is, it may be. But knowing that at the end of the day, your peace and your sanity, your livelihood, and your wellness should come before anything else. And not a lot of people get the ability or the option to be like, yeah, that is okay. That is acceptable. Most of the time people have to sacrifice or, compensate in one way or another, which is not fair, and it doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't, it shouldn't really be like that. 333 on my clock. And so with that, you really just have to try your best when it comes to starting something new. There are going to be mistakes. You have to expect to make mistakes. You have to expect to struggle at first. You have to expect to, not be able to have all of the answers and, have everything planned out and have everything go the way that you think it will go in your head. You'll get visions, you'll get help, you'll get, assistance. But at the end of the day, just in general, going through things like this, going through transitions, making leaps, even if they are drastic or they seem foolish or they seem, dramatic or whatever it is to other people, if you felt the calling and if you felt guided to make that decision, what is to say that not only was it something that wasn't supposed to happen, confirmation burp, something that your soul had already chose for you to go through before you even came here, something that you already had succeeded in, something that you already, found your way out through. If you had the vision, if you had the idea, if you had the urge, especially when this Capricorn moon came out, the buck moon came out just yesterday, and you're still going to be feeling the effects afterwards, and especially for the next 2 weeks. And now that we're moving into another retrograde until I think it was November, that these things are all a part of the journey. And I absolutely love that I got my cat to go on a little walk. She really enjoyed that. She was just running around and exploring and stuff. And now she's knocked out, so she's gonna sleep good for the rest of however long we're driving for. But honestly, at first I thought that I was gonna do this drive without her because that's what I wanted. I had a plan. I was going to get her taken care of, and then I'd take care of myself. And I was just like, well, maybe this is not supposed to happen, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But she's here with me. So however long she is going to be here with me for this journey, for my life, I'm going to make sure that I take the best care that I can possible for her. But again, I'm not perfect, and it is not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try my best to manage with what I can do. So I think one of the things that I was worried most about was how I was going to cleanse myself and just things like that. Where am I going to lay my head? Laying my head in the car is fine. But when it comes to, bathing and also, just that was really about it. And, having enough money for food, those are some things that I was worried about. But again, not only did I get visions, but in my dream specifically, I was given inklings. I was given kind of more insight on not only am I going to figure those things out, but that if I was like overall, especially when it comes to conquering your dreams and achieving certain things that you go through. You have to not treat yourself as if you are someone who's just average, someone who is just regular. And obviously, you know, I'm not superior to anybody else. And I'm not, you know, more smart or more talented than the next person. Everybody has their own attributes and their own skills and their own talents and things that they're really good at. But for myself, and only speaking for myself, that I cannot consider myself to be a person that receives average gifts or average blessings or opportunities. My entire life has been wild, and you know, I am getting a little emotional as I say this, but my life has been wild, and it's starting to hit me now, especially like I never really got to receive anything good because it always came from something else or someone else, or you know, someone always, you know, used certain things against me, things that were temporary or materialistic, in ways to keep me confined or keep me controlled to a certain narrative or a certain, you know, identity or a certain standpoint in their life, or when it came to me even having any sort of freedom in my own life. And you know, the only thing that I ever wanted was not only to be free, to express myself fully, without judgment, without criticism, without being put down every single time when I tried to do something for myself, when I tried to branch out, when I tried to be authentic and strong and brave. It was like I couldn't breathe. It was like I couldn't expand the way that I knew that I always needed to. So doing this is not only for the younger versions of myself that never got the opportunity to expand and to breathe the way that I deserve to breathe, and to create and to blossom and to actually have ownership over my own success because I made it happen. To be able to say that I succeeded, I took care of myself, I pulled myself to the finish, and I didn't need anybody from my past, from my karmic cyclical past, to do that for me. That is the thing that I wanted to not prove to myself, because I already know. Before I even left, I already knew I was worthy. I already knew that I was strong. I already knew that I was gifted. I already knew that I had I guess a plan for my life. I had a destiny. I had a prophecy. Is it prophecy? A purpose to fulfill, a responsibility to this world. And not a responsibility that anyone has put on me outside of me, but a connection that I have so deeply with Source, with God, and with the universe, that my soul came here to accomplish something. And I just decided that I'm not going to waste any more time when it comes to accomplishing that desire, that destiny, that dream, that purpose that I have. I feel like I definitely got bit while I was out there. But this is for me. This is for my future. This is for my future family, my future community, that I am doing this because it is necessary. It is necessary. And I wouldn't have had the idea if it wasn't supposed to happen, and if I didn't already succeed and I already got through it and I already conquered and figured it out, because I know that I will. I have so much certainty in myself and belief in myself that I will make it through, because there's literally no other alternative. There is none. There was no way to do something, to accomplish or to go through with something that would be like practically throwing myself into the ocean without any raft or life, what is it called? The safety measures, whatever it is. Like, there just wouldn't have. And this wouldn't have been something that was absolutely pestering me over and over and over and over again if it wasn't supposed to happen. So I'm doing it scared. I'm doing it terrified. But at the same time, I don't feel scared as much as I did before I actually left, before I packed the car. Just between me and y'all, I packed my car. Well, first of all, I kept going back and forth between having the car packed and then taking things out. I had to go through everything again and take out a bunch of stuff that I didn't, I wasn't going to be able to take with me. I had a vision of wanting my car to be mostly empty-ish, because I wanted to be able to, have the space in the room to expand and to, be able to, lounge and be comfortable. And so when I was going through everything, I was making sure, okay, I'm going to keep this, but I'm not going to keep that. I'll put this here, and then hopefully, or maybe I'll come back to come get it, because I have some things there, especially winter clothes, that I definitely want to have. But, whatever happens, happens. It's not up to me. It's up to what the universe, what my journey, what my destiny, wants for me to do or wants for me to have, because it has to do a lot with clearing out old energy, just old items that don't serve me the same anymore, things that just don't provide me with what I need, or just getting rid of things that I don't need anymore, that don't serve me, that are old, that have no use anymore. And just really thinking about and evaluating, what exactly do I really care about having? Would I be devastated if I didn't have X, Y, and Z? And so I kept everything that I genuinely did want to keep and to have. And, I was going through everything, and obviously not, there's probably some more things that I will get rid of. But for now, I think I did an amazing job in, evaluating what those things were. And it was a lot. I had did a big cleaning. I think it was a Sunday in May, and I got rid of so many things. And when I tell y'all, from December, when I got kicked out of my apartment and I had to move back, and I didn't have anywhere else to go, I didn't know what I was going to do, I packed this car to the brim. Back there, everything was packed all the way to the top. I could not even see out my back window. I couldn't see anything. So, and then my cats, I had 3 cats with me too. So my cats were in this passenger seat, and they were on top of other items. The way that I packed this car, and I also moved out within 12 hours because I was procrastinating, because I was trying to figure out something else to do, because I was just yo, I cannot, don't tell me this means that I gotta do, X, Y, Z, and I gotta return to the place that at one point was hell, literally. And I had to. It was a part of the journey. But I had this whole car packed up, and when I tell y'all, I had to get rid of so much stuff, like so many expensive things. And then yet again, I got rid of more things that, were expensive, were not, And then I went and did another cleaning. Like, it's just cleaning upon cleaning upon cleaning. And one thing that's really hard to not, like, make yourself guilty for, or susceptible to, is like feeling guilty or ashamed for having spent so much money, and having had all these items, but then you still ended up not using them or keeping them at the end of the day. But at one point they meant so much to you, especially when I was in my first apartment, when I moved in for the first time, and I made the mistake of moving somebody else in. It was an ex-partner. And like, I probably had all those items in order to, I guess, compensate, or to kind of just make myself feel as at home as much as possible, because I felt like not only was this apartment, it didn't feel like home. It felt invasive. It felt uncomfortable. It felt like it wasn't even mine. Like, I couldn't even sleep comfortably, knowing that not only was it an apartment complex, but there was maintenance people coming in and out every week. And a lot of the times they would come in unannounced. They would come not necessarily in, because they did try to come in at one point when I told them that specifically you're not allowed to come in unless I let you in. They almost came in while I was literally not in decent nature to be, out there. Oh, there's a spider. And yeah, it was terrible. And then on top of that, I spent so much money trying to support and take care of, not only myself, but other people, especially my cats and things like that, that I literally, there's like an $80 cat tree at home just sitting in the basement right now. Well, not necessarily home, but, and I was just like, dang, I really loved that cat tree. It was amazing. Like, it had so many different beds and tiers and little hidey holes, and it was just so fun. And like, I was just really upset about it. I was just like, bro, what? Like, you mean I gotta leave this whole cat tree? It was one of the favorite things that I had purchased for my cat. And so, another thing too, a sign of, not only like presence, but stuff like that. Like, she is knocked out. Feeling warmth is a sign of having ancestral or spiritual presence around you. And I'm feeling really warm right now. But I'm probably gonna turn the car air on in a little bit. But yeah, so just going through all of this stuff and reflecting on everything and being here now is literally like, what? This is crazy. Like, I would have never imagined. But I feel like it's not a crime to say, but I feel like it's crazy that I'm not upset, that I'm happy. I actually was smiling and crying tears of joy as I was doing it, because I could finally say and tell myself that I did it. Because it was so hard for me to do this at first. I was so scared. And I put so many prayers and blessings over me to make this trip. I asked God, I was just like, please, if this is not supposed to happen, please, I can turn around now. I can turn around now while I still got a chance. I still got a chance. But like, nothing happened. And nothing is still happening. So I know that this is extremely protected. This was meant to happen. And I'm documenting this not only for you guys, because honestly, y'all are the only people in space and relationship that I have at this moment. And I really want to grow this channel to its beautiful fruition of, all it can be. But at the same time, this is for y'all to see that this is possible, that things can be okay, that you'll be able to make it. And obviously, I'm not so crazy out of this world special that the things that I'm doing are, near impossible to do, or that everybody can do it, but I got the specific calling to go through with this, and I'm actually putting action to the words that I've been talking and speaking on for so long. And yeah, I wasn't necessarily prepared, especially financially. When I tell y'all I only have a few hundreds right now, I'm not gonna give y'all a specific amount. I literally took a screenshot of my bank account right now. Well, on the way here. And I was just like, I already know it's gonna change. It's gonna get blessed. Don't know how, don't know where, don't know who, don't know what, don't know when, but that don't matter. At this point, right now, I'm riding the wave, and I'm riding the wave of not only freedom, but living for me and my cat, and protecting our life and providing ourselves a life that I can actually be proud of, that I can feel so in love with and enveloped in, and not be in fear, not have my nervous system constantly on go, genuinely just taking it day by day, taking it literally not even day by day, taking it minute by minute, because that's how you got to go through with things like this. You have to literally take it minute by minute, because you don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. But making quantum leaps and changing the way that you treat certain, things, like this whole moon, was the focus of it was, are you going to repeat the things that you've always done when it comes to experiencing certain reactions or triggers or things like that, or are you going to change? And then when you change whatever it is that you've been doing, and you do something different, the universe is going to support that, because you have finally put a little trigger, or a little, you shook things up, basically, Bookie. Like, you shaking things up, and it's like, oh, whoa, what you doing? This is different. Okay, we're gonna give you something different then, if you're ready for different. That's just how the universe works. And so I'm genuinely not only excited, but very interested on how these things are going to pan out. How are these things going to come into fruition, So you guys will be along with me in this entire journey. Whatever happens, however we figure it out, y'all will be with me. Y'all also know if anything happens, you know what happened, I'm keeping y'all documented. And I already know, my whole entire soul in my life and my being and my belongings are protected in this, but y'all know what's going on. And this is y'all, at this point, y'all really locked in with me for real, really locked in tight like a booty hole, because nobody really knows about this. And it's not because it was such a big deal to not have them know, but it was just this is something that's very sacred, very important for me, very, what would you say? Give me confirmation burp. This is very vulnerable and personal, but it's important for me to share this. And I know that this is a part of everything, sharing this, being in touch, and just having this communication with y'all, because I don't really, at first I would say definitely at the beginning of my channel, I wasn't so transparent with everything. I definitely was still living from a certain lens, or a certain, how I wanted to be seen in a certain way. And I was trying to control the narrative as much as possible. But at this point, I can't control anything about what's going on with my narrative. Like, it looks ugly, it looks ugly. It looks imperfect, it looks imperfect. If y'all want to call me insane, call me insane. I might be a little bit, like, do not say that I'm not crazy, but if you know everything that I've been through and all the stuff that I've endured, yeah, you would be a little bit cuckoo, and you would be too. So, look. You only get one life at the end of the day. And the life that I was given is one that I have to make something shake. I had to make a change to save myself, to save my life, and save my future. Because where I was at was not taking me anywhere, but keeping me small and shrinking me and keeping me in a state that was in fight or flight, in fear, in denial. I was constantly compensating for my pain and just, what is it called? Like, convincing myself that it was okay, or just like trying to just be like, oh, I'll be all right. It's better than the other. No, it wouldn't have. And I had to make the decision now because it was for me. It's not for anybody else. It was for me to finally put myself first and to make decisions on my own accord. And if I waited any longer, not very good things would happen to me. So, we're here. We're queer. I love you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And I wish you the best, the absolute best, and wherever you are, to keep going, to keep holding on, to keep loving yourself deeper and deeper every single day, and honoring yourself the way that you should, respecting yourself the way that you should, standing out for yourself, however that means, but also having discernment and being intentional about everything that you do, because intention means so much. But again, I love you, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.